Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Acha, my today's topic is slightly broad. Okay, so I don't have much of facts and figures like I normally present to you. I don't have those kind of facts and figures, but what I have is a lot of points that I want to make to you, and what I'm going to talk to you about is a subject I know, that is advertising and media. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So the question that I want to ask tonight is, does hate sell in India? Can you sell your movies, you sell your political parties, you sell your television channels, you sell your news program by spreading hate? Is it possible? Are we buying it? That's the question we asked tonight. Let's get right into the show. Television was so different growing up. My growing up, which is a long, long time ago. Television was so different. Black and white days. You see, when we sit in front of the television, when we used to sit in front of the television, the faces we saw on television was of Bhagat Singh, was of Mahatma Gandhi, was of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was of Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who was then the squadron leader when he used to come on television. Sunil Gavaskar, Pula Deshpande, Kamleshwar, these were the faces that we would see on television. These were the people that we would listen to. It was phenomenally aspirational. Vinod Duaji, these are people we would listen to. Their views, their point of views, their worldview, how they saw the world. It was fabulously aspirational. You would learn something from television, some new things. That was the power of television during our growing days. India was very different then too. I'm not saying that, it was a perfectly secular place and all that. I'm not saying that. But secularism was prevailing. Radical communalism was not rampant. Most of us were secular. Most of us didn't hate each other. There was no us versus them. Things were much different. Television plays a huge role when it comes to changing of culture. Today, if you see television, the channels, they deliberately call these radical Hindutvawadis, radical Maulanas, they make them sit together and they fight. And that's what they want to see. And unfortunately, you see it. And the fact that you see it, you entertain those kind of programs, ensures that they give you more of it. So, the fault lies both ways. Fault lies with the viewer, fault lies with the channel too. Those days, they showed Pula Deshpande. And we understood literature. And today, they show radical communal people. And this generation is trying to figure out that udhar mosque banna chahiye ki udhar mandir banna chahiye. In schools, I remember when we were in school, the next day, because normally we used to watch television the previous night, and the next day in school, we would be discussing Pestanji of Pula Deshpande. There's this beautiful essay called Pestanji of written by Pula Deshpande. In fact, if you have not seen it, you should see it. It's so beautiful. When we used to discuss that, and today I am told in schools that discuss Hindu versus Muslims, they discuss hijab, they discuss saffron shawls. See the difference. See the difference. See the way our society has changed. The point that I am trying to make is, if we have created world leaders, if our people are CEOs of various companies, I have spoken this before, I am repeating myself. If our people are CEOs of various companies, it is thanks to the fact that the way we were brought up at that point in time was very different to the way our children are brought up now. And what I worry is possibly the future of India, if we continue to do this, is going to be very, very dangerous. And that's precisely why I wanted to talk about this topic. That is precisely why I wanted to talk about this topic, is because now everything, television, I spoke to you about. Movies. Us versus them, always. And that seems to be the mantra. Of course, a lot of them are now kind of biting the dust. That's a different issue. A lot of movies have flopped in the box office. That's a different issue. Thank God for it. But the fact is, distorting history, creating communal tensions, that seems to be the mantra for a box office triumph in India. Creativity has reduced to that. Television has reduced to that. News has reduced to that. Creativity has reduced to that. And politics is that. So what is left of cultural India? And that's the question I want you to ask yourself. What is left of India? You remove hate and there is nothing left in India. There is no talk about emerging markets. There is no talk about economy. There is no talk about industry. There is no talk about agriculture. Nothing. Hate, hate, hate and hate. Switch on the television and that's the only thing you see. Hate. And a person who tries speaking against it is called anti-Hindu. I got a new name, Jaychand. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with that. But, anybody who speaks against hate is ridiculed, trolled. This is as important as unemployment. This topic is as important as education, is as important as health. That is why I am bringing this topic to you today. Stop entertaining hate. Stop watching hate. Switch off the television. Do not allow your children to watch the television. If there is two communities sitting and fighting, please do not watch. Make it an entertainment program during a dinner with your entire family. Please don't make it. It is spoiling our culture. It is spoiling this country. I beg of you, do not make this an entertainment program. And that's the point I wanted to make today. That's my point number one. Now let's get into, like I said, a subject I know well, that's advertising. And don't get me wrong on this. Please take it in the right spirit. Possibly the best place to show a man ad is in front of the urinal. Is in front of the urinal because the man has 30, 40, 50, 60 seconds. He has to just watch the wall. Put your product there and he will watch it for 60 seconds, clean. No other thing. He can't think of anything, he can't do anything. He has to watch your ad, isn't it? Then why are there no ads in the urinal? Why don't you have ads in the urinal? Why don't you have man ads or man products in the urinal? Best place to be. Because it is a media that carries your ad is as important as your ad. Your brand is defined by the medium in which your brand is carried. So if your ad comes in a Time magazine, in a Newsweek, I'm not talking Indian magazines and television or something today, is because I don't want to get into any defamation and all that. So, Baba, I've got enough of my own, enough problems of my own. So I'm going to talk about foreign brands, not because I'm enamored with them, but all the same. So, there is a difference if you get your ad on a Time magazine or a Newsweek or a Washington Post or a London Times, and it is different if you take your ad in a Sun. The imagery of those media is very different. Now, come to think of it, when you carry your brand ads on a channel which spreads venom, which spreads hate in the society, you think it's impacting your brand well? You think it's helping your brand? You see the imagery it is creating for your brand, the sheer media in which your brand is being carried. Look at the imagery it is transensuating into your brand. It is harming your brand, and believe me, if not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, day after, your brand will pay for it. Your brand image will suffer. Your brand image will suffer because your brand will be cognitively linked to hate. Because every time you see your brand, it is between a hate, tum mandir banega, wo todega, ye todega, toing, your ad comes in. Your 60 seconds or 30-second ad comes in the middle. Look at what people will relate to your brand to. Hate. If you want to relate your brand to hate, advertise in this media where they spread hate. So that's my next point. The point number 2, that please, advertisers, what are you doing? If you put your money on channels which is spreading hate, they will continue to do so. They will not change because everything is working for them. They are getting TRPs, so are they getting advertising? I mean, it'll work for them. Why would they change? This is the point I want to make to the advertisers. And my last point is about hope. A lot of experts say that the TRPs of television per se, television channels, television news, are coming down. People are not watching television channels, people are not watching television news. A lot of people say this, and they say that in the future, the TRPs will come down. Now, I don't know how much to believe this. This is anybody's guess. Whether it could be right, it could be wrong, I don't know. But I want to believe that someday, yes, someday, and I actually, more than believe, I'm hoping that someday we Indians will say no to hate. We will stop hate entering our drawing rooms. We'll stop hate from entering our drawing rooms. We'll stop people just preaching, practicing, shouting hate from their studios. We'll stop them. And if that happens, that will be a great day for India. And that's the only way they can only have a secure future. And more importantly, a cultured future for India. Till I see you next time, that is tomorrow at 10. Namaskar.